The oath of Chanakya. Chanakya thought of going to Patliputra at the break of the day. He was unable to comprehend why the passion blind king, who was attached to lust, was bent upon sacrificing the well being of an entire nation. Has he decided that he is immortal? By the time he reached Patliputra, it was late afternoon. After seeing the magnificent buildings in the capital, nobody could have imagined that the villages and lands which are on its surroundings going to bear a striking semblance to a graveyard. The entire northern part of Bharat took pride in the kingdom of Patliputra. But what did its citizen think? Perhaps if someone is going to perceive anything about Patliput, he would probably have been proven wrong seeing the beautiful town. That town looked magnificent and beautiful because the inner courtyards of the palace were inhabited by beautiful lady soldiers. The maid servants too were cute. Nath had indeed raised the living standard of the woman up to what an extent. On the way, when he met some Brahmins, one of them asked him, out of curiosity, "Brother, who are you? It seems as you are a Brahmin because of this sandal mark on your forehead. I think you are new here. Why are you worried?" Before Chanakya could answer, one of them guessed, "Are you worried for money? You are worrying in vain. Today is Sunday and our king does not allow anybody to return empty-handed. Our king, Nath, is a worshipper of God's son. How sad! You are Brahmins, but you are a flutter also. You are praising him without reason. Are you not ashamed to praise your coward?" I can imagine how benevolent he is by looking at the pitiable state of the towns between Kusampur and Patliputra. The earth is parched. The houses are deserted. None of the houses can afford a lamp to illuminate them. Whoever is left in those houses has lost his sister or womenfolk. After pondering over for so many times, Chanakya added, "You are telling me that the king is a generous person and he is a devotee of sun god. Can you watch for the safety of your womenfolk in this kingdom?" Chanakya continued in the great anger. "Do you think that I have come from Takshashila to Patliputra only to get money? Have you ever thought why the newborns in your kingdom meet an untimely death? Why does their childhood turn into old age within no time? When the people toil day and night to earn a living, what do they get in return as remuneration? Only insult and repentance. What do they have which they can proudly claim to be their own? Can they consider themselves alive? What price do the citizens have to pay to survive in Magadha? Is this the legacy and administration of Mahapadma, who, successor of Nath, has become so irresponsible, careless, vicious, corrupt and miserable? Can any one of you answer my questions?" Before he could look at them to get some answers, they quietly slipped away, except an old man who was at the back said, "Oh Brahmin, I don't know the purpose of your visit here, but if you have come with some resolution, then I can only say not to expect anything from Nath. He is vile and vicious. Oh Brahmin, you will not get anything from him." "Hey great man, I have not come to ask something from him. I have just come to know the whereabouts of the chief minister Shakantar and Commander Maurya. Where they have gone? What I've heard that the king has arrested them. And but why are you asking these questions? Who are you? Will you introduce yourself? Since you have asked, so I will certainly tell you. I am the son of an aggrieved Brahmin Channi from Kusampur. My father named me Chanakya, while the saints named me Vishnugup. You may call me by any name. I studied in Takshashila with a grant of a scholarship from the state treasury, and now I am teaching there as a teacher. After finishing my studies, I wished to come back home and to meet my parents, as I had not heard about them for a long time. Therefore, I reached Kusampur. To my utter shock, I found that wonderful village had turned into ruins. Son, I know Channi. I have tried to convince him, but he was obsessed with his patriotism. He wanted to improve the plight of the masses, and therefore he raised his voice against the king. The angry king exiled him from the kingdom of Magadha. O great Brahmin, I have heard this entire story. I only want to know the crime for which King Nag arrested Shakandar and the commander Maurya. Looking at you, I can understand this, and your face reflects it also. You have certainly come with a resolution in your mind. May you shine like a rising sun. It is Sunday today, and you can meet the king yourself in person. When he reached the palace, Chanakya was stunned. Seeing the opulence, he forgot about the question which was hunting him. The riches and the magnificence were omnipresent there. The court of Nag was packed with visitors who wanted to see him. Everyone was very keen to meet him, and they were pleading to the security guards. The guards were turning down their request adamantly. They were merrily managing the crowd. It was a beautiful room. I adorned large pillars. The roof was painted with beautiful designs. The Buddhist stupas were also nicely decorated. Chanakya felt that the king was not only the admirer of beauty, but he admired the art too. While Chanakya was lost in watching the beauty, a whiff of rose fragrance passed him. A beautiful and named damsel, radiating her beauty, entered the palace, and after a few minutes she came out. Chanakya stopped her and asked, Devi, may I get an opportunity to meet the king Nag? Brahmin, you will have to wait for it. The king is in his personal cabin. But this is scheduled time of meeting with the king. He is the king, and he can only decide for his timings. You wait. And saying this, that beautiful girl went back to cabin. Chanakya, being in standing position, was thinking whether this is a court of Magadha's king or a city bar. Everywhere there is insanity, and everyone has revolved in woman's nature, or one can say, only woman there is, hardly any male. He had not seen such a shameless display of luxury and opulence. How could the king be such an addict, and what would happen to Magadha? How the mass awareness is missing. There was no effort from the graceful existence, nor was there any sense of patriotism or religiosity. Nobody seemed to be care for the rich culture, tradition, and the rich legacy. What Chanakya thought when he was leaving Takshashila and what he is seeing here. Everywhere there is an atmosphere of stealth, ego, and corruption. How long can someone subject a great nation like Magadha to this kind of insult, adultery, and treachery. A voice of conscience told him, "Go back, Chanakya." "How can I go back? The land of my nation is like a mother. How can I allow disrobing of my mother at the hands of demon and ignore it?" Just then he heard an announcement. "King, King of Kings, the Emperor of Magadha, King Nad is entering the court." In a short while, he stood before Nad. "Welcome, Brahmin. You have come back to Magadha after completion of education in the Gurukula. I hope you definitely protect the dignity of Magadha. This kingdom of Magadha welcomes you." I know you. The maid has told me. You are the son of Brahmin Channi who had sought help from this kingdom. Your name is Vishnugupt. I am also called Chanakya. I am aware. O king, I have completed my studies in Takshashila and now I return here. I want you to make Magadha proud and enhance its reputation. I have obtained my priesthood in the same Gurukula, but I am astonished to see the complete change here. What do you want to say? I just want to reiterate that the teachings of Buddhism is not adequate enough for a dignified human behavior. People leading that kind of life may well find it suitable, but by avoiding the weapons, training, and by ignoring it, we can't fight with any future problem. For which problem are you talking of? The one which you are unable to foresee. Are you seeing that? Yes, I am seeing it. The army of Yavans has reached the nearby mountain ridge. Having got a warning and information in advance about their aggression, the king of Gandhar is worried. How can Parvateshwar stop him single-handedly? And if Parvateshwar has to face defeat, the approaching Yavans will reach Magadha. The entire Aryavat will be under their rule, the rule of alliance. At that time, in your state of intoxication and inhibitions, you will call out for your gods. Chanakya started thinking that he has done something wrong. He has not come here to say all this. Nag asked him, "What can you do to stop this?" "O mighty king, in the interest of the nation, you must give up the thought of demolition of the Brahmin race. Only Brahmin can wish for the country's benefit. Please replace the race of Buddhist priests and establish the ashrama of pure and scholarly Brahmins and give training to the young generation about weapons and combats. Brahmin, you are talking too much and you are engaged in luxury and indolence. How dare you address me in my state with these shameless words despite of depending on the scholarship for your education granted by me? Now stop, you stupid king. What makes you think that you can create anybody's destiny? How can he, who can't even put his steps in the right manner due to intoxication, run the country? Hey soldiers, arrest him." "How dare you arrest me? King Nad, I am a Brahmin and seeking alms in my religion. Having seen the pitiable state of the affairs in your kingdom, I had only come to warn you that the Yavans are definitely to attack in the state, and if you don't have to take help of a strong army, the forces of Yavans will trounce the entire Aryavarth under its horses' traps. Your Buddhist monks will prove to be cowards at that time. Shut up, you son of Channi. You are the son of traitor." Looking at the sentries, he ordered, "What are you waiting for? Catch hold of this Brahmin by his stuff and throw him out of the courtyard. How dare he insult me in my own court?" With the help of soldiers, one of them sentries caught Chanakya while the other pulled up the braid of his staff on the top of his head. trying to balance his wooden stuff, the holy vessel, and his clothes. Chanakya tried to stand up. With lot of struggle, he stood up. His entire body was shivering with anger, and a huge toughen was staring in his heart. You have opened the braid of my tuft in this crowded court. Oh, vile Nad, I take a vow. I will not tie the braid of my tuft till I finish your entire clean. I will tie this knot only after that. People present in the court were shocked to hear the proclamation done by the Chanakya. But the veiled supporters of the king started condensing and browbeating. Angry and infuriated, Nath could not stand in the court even for a moment and went inside his chamber. His beautiful female companions brought him globs of liquor. Nath plugged himself into reckless consumption of liquor. He was not worried even bit about the future plans forecasted by Chanakya. Chanakya was thinking on his own. Now the time has come. You will not be able to stop the storm of politics, which is based on the blind faith in religion. Just as, excited with his thoughts, Chanakya inadvertently blustered out, Hey Nad, your entire clan would now be destroyed. You will not be able to change your fate. Now, the time has come to replace a meaner from the royal seat by a warrior, the Kshatriya race. Chanakya, with a hoarse laugh, said, Hey son of servant, what else could Magadha expect from you? All of a sudden, his hand touched the braid of his tuft. The Shiksha, excited and agitated with iron, he roared, You mean Sandri? You have touched the braid of tuft of a Brahmin. His Shiksha, you are just a dog of your mean king. You are just a guard. Hey Sandri, your king is now going to be alive just for a few days. Now just watch how this braid, unwounded just like a female snake, in all its viciousness, will bite you and your clan. After cursing him, Chanakya returned from the palace. Inside him, his conscience was resonating with his proclamation. Hey Nad, if I am a true Brahmin, then I am going to take rest only when I will destroy a king to dust. Lost in his thoughts, he was walking away from the palace. He himself was not knowing where exactly he was going. He did not know about his destiny. Suddenly, a sharp thorn pierced his soul and forced him to stop. The deep wound started bleeding. Lost in his thoughts, he started imagining thrones all around him. Chanakya's mind was perturbed by another storm engulfing it. This beautiful Mother Earth, which had the capacity to bloom a greenery of crop, had started growing thrones. Symbolically, it means that before going to destroy the clan of Nath, I will have to destroy the clan of thrones so that it would never thrive. He requested a maid from a pitcher of butterwood and went back to the same place where the thorn had pierced his soul. He kept his pitcher aside and with his strong arms he started plucking the branch of thorns and started filling the votes by pouring buttermilk. An old man standing nearby was observing this intently and suddenly he laughed. Now Chanakya's eyes became red due to extreme anger. He stared to that old Brahmin and said, I vividly recollect that you are the one who provoked me to go to the palace of Nath. Yes, indeed. I am the same guy. What happened? Did you not get any money? And by saying this, the Brahmin laughed very high. Chanakya felt insulted with his senseless laughter and got irritated. Shaking with anger, he roared, You seem to be enjoying all this, and therefore you're laughing. You are laughing at my insult? Don't you know my name? I am Chanakya. I know you and your father too. I would have said anything if I had not seen you filling the voids left by the bunch of thrones with buttermilk. Only those who fill the voids and pits left by the thrones have a strong resolution in their minds. I strongly believe that a man engaged in this sort of activity will surely destroy the clan of the corrupt and vicious King Nad. His anger, personified by the buttermilk, can destroy the evil king from its roots. Moreover, my son, I know that when you left from here, your braid of tuft was tied and now it is opened and unwounded. Is anything changed in the intervening period? By seeing the curiosity in the quarry of the Brahmin, Chanakya narrated the entire incident happened in the Nad's court. He proclaimed again, I have taken a vow that until such time that I destroy the clan of Nad from its root, I will not tie the knot of my stuff. Chanakya, may God bless you to fulfill your resolution. And after saying this, the Brahmin started laughing and vanished into the darkness. Chanakya started getting a thought of how he would destroy Nad, how he would save Aryabhat, and how he could save the grace of women folk, the mothers of victorious son. Now Chanakya was restless. His only worry was how to destroy Nad. He was trying to muster strength and collaborate to achieve his aim, and he was wailing continuously. After all, Nad was a king and Chanakya a poor Brahmin. Whenever he thought of the immense power of Nad, his heart filled with sorrow and self-doubt. However, when he recalled the prediction of the astrologers, his face was glowing with a hope. He felt a ray of hope and relief. The sense of joy was writ large on his face along with the sense of worry. The prediction only means that I can become successful in destroying the clan of Nad and I can change the kingdom of Magadha into a gigantic Aryavart state where the traditions and culture of our country are going to be reinstated. Also, I have to search for that person who is going to be seated and responsible for running the state and for the well-being of its subjects by installing a new man. After giving a deep thought, Chanakya shifted his focus from insult to the welfare and the security of the country. Chanakya had planned to stay here for more days and after meeting his father would return to Takshashila. He had never imagined that the state of affairs in the country would have reached such a nadir. Now he resolved that something needed to be done very fast. With this thought hunting him, he cancelled the program to return to Takshashila. Now, his first task was to look for a bold Kshatriya, young man endowed with the qualities of being worthy successor.